Hey guys, so we're over here at the Titleist booth, and we've got a real treat here. We've got Aaron Dill, Titleist Tour rep, and we're going to talk a little bit about the new SM7 line. Aaron has worked on tour for...
It's come up on 11 years now.
11 years. I met Aaron about 10 years ago when we were both out at the Bob Hope Classic in Palm Springs. And you know, great to see the work Aaron's done with Bob Vokey over the years, and how the wedges just continue to get better and better. So Aaron, run us through the new SM7 line.
Yeah, so that's always the goal, is to make something better than it was in the previous generation. So
not easy.
It's not easy, no, but you know, Bob and the team have really come up with ways to really improve the product, which is great. So, like I've said many times, tour players won't put this in their bags until they know and really truly believe it's better. So this line is comprised of 23 models. We've got a 46 and 48 at 10 degrees bounce.
Right.
That's 2 degrees more bounce than SM6 was.
Okay.
And the great thing about this, we tested it, we learned that 2 degrees bounce wasn't a thing that players would feel and say, this isn't working for me. What they did say is, I'm hitting my windows a little more often, and my flight's just perfect. So that's the great part about that.
And that's how it evolves, isn't it? It's from tour feedback. So you know, you guys see that sort of stuff, and you get to work with the best players in the world, and you know, get to use them as your test subjects if you like to develop better new products.
There are guinea pigs, yeah. We learn so much from those guys. They tell us what looks right, what feels right, what sounds right. So that really goes into everything that we do. As we move into the gap wedges 50 and 52, you have 8 and 12 degrees bounce there, which is just like SM6. We love the way those perform. Moving into the 54 and 56, you've got 3 bounce options. You've got 8M, 10S, 14F. And on those, we really just love the DNA of how that wedge is performing. We did change CG on that. We did move that slightly higher.
From last year?
From last year. And our CG has moved actually lower on our pitches and gaps because we picked up a little bit of ball speed, and it really correlates more with mishits. So,
and CG was a big story from last year's, wasn't it? From SM6, it was all about, you know, CG location, and when you're another year on in the evolution, you've got another year's worth of testing and performance to work it and modify it and change it.
We do, yeah.
So you're even better in SM7.
We've gone a little bit more, and again, I always try and tell players, this isn't about making your better shots or your good shots better. We know good shots are great shots. It's when you slightly miss, when there's elements that make the golf ball a little more difficult to hit. That's where CG plays an important role in making the impact of that shot better.
Right, without a doubt. Excellent.
So then on the 58 through 62, CG is going to move slightly higher.
We're
going to keep that traditional classic Vokey shape, which everybody loves. The only real transitions we made in the profiles of these really stems more around the 46 or 52. And our tour player feedback says, hey, we want to see something a little bit squarer in those lofts. I think it helps with alignment, complements the iron sets well, and it really transitions you from the long wedge into the short wedge. So a little square on those, and then our classic Vokey shape all the way through. So just increasing a little bit of edge radius, just making it look gorgeous.
And then on the other side of the wedge, talk to me a little bit about the face and sort of some of the new groove technology that's on there.
Yeah, so we love 17 groove patterns. They perform the best for us. All of our testing over the years has shown, and I always tell Bob, are we really all the way there? Can we get better? And he says, well, let's run some more tests. Let's try some more wall angles. Let's try some different patterns. We just love 17 grooves. It works great for our product. So 17 groove profile. We have parallel milling in between the grooves. In the past, we had radial, so a little spin mill. This is in between.
For just some increased friction.
Correct. We want to create more grip on the ball. And the cool thing we learned was sometimes on any of our plated parts, we can see a reduction in our RMX. Our RMX is what we study when we're looking at groove performance. We're looking at this edge radii. So in a perfect world, this is the sharpest we can get, right? But the rules say we need to be here. So once we cut it and we chrome it, sometimes you'll see a 1/10 or 2/10 of that RMX go away, and we're like, that's not good enough. We can come up with a better way to get that back. So we actually have a different cutter for our plated parts that keeps that RMX at the max.
Interesting. Okay, brilliant. And 3 new finishes. Well, 2 new finishes. We're kind of continuing with Tour Chrome.
So we've got our classic, beautiful, elegant chrome, which is a home run. We've got the steel gray version, which is a little different than our last one. It's not as dull or brushed as the last one. It's more elegant. It's got more of a polish to it. It's beautiful. And then we've got a really cool new jet black, which is all blacked out.
With black
super fun.
Fill.
Getting a lot of traction right now on tour.
Incredible.
Jimmy Walker's got to sit in the bag. Cam Smith's got to sit in the bag. And I've got a bunch more orders. Actually, I got to finish tomorrow to take to Phoenix with me. So it's a blast.
Well, Aaron is out there most weeks working with the best players in the world, and you were telling me last week you had how many wedges? 183 wedges in play. out of a potential 260.
Yeah, so 183 SM7. So it's
That's
been a great adoption.
That's tour dominance on the wedge front, and it just doesn't stop, does it? You know, there's new grinds this year as well. There's a couple of new grinds we saw, and
that's right. So it really pertains more to our higher lofts.
Right.
So you know where guys are going to use these for short game purposes, we want to offer them as many options as we can that benefit all different golf course styles and player swings. So on our K and our last line, we had 12 degrees of bounce. Now we're up to 14, and that really helps with square face pitches and chips and full shots. Just bringing the flight down just a little bit, managing the spin and keeping the carry where you want it to be. Once you get into our main movers like the S grind, the M grind, and the L, the DNA of that wedge is going to remain the same because Jordan Spieth, Jimmy Walker, Bill Haas, those guys say don't change it. We listen to that information, so it's great. Now, we do have one new offering called the D.
Saw that, yep.
And the D grind is really cool because it's a little bit more bounce. It's like the big brother to the M grind.
Right, so same shape around the back, little toe relief, little heel relief.
Emphasis on more forward bounce, working on flighting the ball a little bit easier, creating a little more forgiveness in soft conditions, or maybe just players that are struggling to make good solid contact. That really helps them hit some better shots.
Without a doubt, and I think the evolution of the grinds and how they all work, that really has allowed us to do our job better and customize, you know, the wedge characteristics to the player. So everyone plays those shots differently. Like you said, some like a square face, some like to open it, like to hit different types of shots, some like it to run out, some like to check it up. So having the right type of grind can really customize those turf interactions.
Absolutely. When we're working with tour players, we're spoiled. We have a tour van, we've got all the options.
Right.
We can go straight to the tee and work with the guys to get that information. Now for your consumers, we try and encourage guys, go to a location that has all 23 models, test them, hit them, don't be biased. You know, just hit the different shots, get with somebody who understands how to fit with a launch monitor so you can see the carry numbers. And if you're going to invest in it, make sure it's for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, get it all customized. And that's the moral of the story that we're always preaching. It's all about getting fit and all the options, all the grinds, all the loft options from 46 up to 62. That just allows us to do a better job for you guys. And the evolution of the iron set, and especially loft, means that we need these lofts to be different. You know, the lofts are getting stronger, so we're maybe seeing the gap wedge now at 50 rather than 52. That's becoming a more popular trend.
Yeah, we're seeing more sets now go 46, 50, 54, 58.
Right.
And that's just due to the fact that iron sets get stronger.
That's it.
But the other thing we're seeing is that loft, in a sense, is more difficult to control. And you see a reduction in spin. So we try and tell guys, hey, let's try a little bit less loft.
Right.
You get more club on the ball, more spin, better stopping power.
Which again leads to the importance of the grind. So the 58, if you've just lost 2 degrees of bounce from your favorite 60, you want the option to open it and play those open face shots so you're not losing stuff. You have to be gaining, you can never be losing. So again, the versatility of the wedge is what matters at that point.
Absolutely, and the only way to truly understand that is to test it.
You got to
hit it, try it, work with somebody who's got the matrix, and go from there.
Excellent. Aaron, great to see you,
so
buddy.
much.
Yeah, really appreciate your time. Thanks so much.